You spent years in school, 12 years, maybe more. Mathematics, history, science, literature. And in all of that time, not one lesson, not 1 hour, not one single page about the things that would govern almost every decision of your adult life. Money. How it works, how it moves, how to make it work for you. Instead of spending your life working for it. Nobody taught you. And that was not an accident. Today, we fix that. Most people think money is currency. Notes, coins, numbers on a screen. But that is what money looks like, not what money is. At its most fundamental level, money is stored energy. Let me explain. When you work, you spend energy, time, effort, skill, attention. Money is what that energy becomes. When someone else agrees it has value. It is the conversion of your effort into something transferable. Something you can store, something you can exchange, something you can move through time. Spending today what you earned yesterday, or saving today what you will need tomorrow. But money is also something else. Money is a language. It is how society communicates value. Not moral value, not human value, economic value. The value of things, services, time, and skill as agreed upon by the people exchanging them. When you understand money as a language, everything changes. You stop seeing it as something some people have and others don't. You start seeing it as something that flows towards value and away from the absence of value. And you start asking a different question. Not how do I get more, but how do I create more value? That shift from chasing money to creating value is the beginning of financial understanding. Here is something worth sitting with. The people who most need to understand money are the people with the least of it, are the ones who are taught the least about it. And the people who already have money are who grow in a household where money is discussed, where investing is normal, where financial decisions are made openly. They inherit not just wealth, but the knowledge of how to create and keep it. That is not a conspiracy, but it is a pattern. Schools teach you to be employable, to show up, to follow instructions, to trade your time for a salary. They do not teach you to be financially free, because financially free people are harder to employ. The system was not designed to produce people who understand money deeply. It was designed to produce people who earn money and spend it, keeping the economy moving and themselves depend on it. Understanding this is not about anger, it is about clarity. You are not taught about money because the system that educated you had no incentive to teach you. Which means, if you want to understand money, you have to teach yourself. Nobody is coming to do it for you. That is a reality. And the reality is actually liberating. Because it means the knowledge is available. It always has been. It was simply never handed to you. In my observation, people have one of three relationships with money. The first is fear. Money is a source of anxiety. There is never enough. Every expense is a threat. Every unexpected cost is a crisis. The future feels financially dangerous, no matter how much arrives. People in this relationship often earn more over time. But the fear does not leave, because the fear was never about the amount. It was about the relationship. The second is avoidance. Money is ignored, not thought about deliberately, earned and spent without a system, saved inconsistently or not at all, financial decisions made reactively when something breaks, when something is due, when something runs out. Most people live here, not in crisis, not in comfort, just drifting financially, the same way they drifted into their lives. The third relationship is understanding. Money is treated as a tool, studied, managed, directed deliberately, not obsessed over, but not ignored either. People in this relationship are not necessarily wealthy, but they are moving. They know where their money goes. They make conscious decisions about it. They are building something, slowly, imperfectly, but building. Which relationship do you have? Be honest. Because the relationship you have with the money determines everything else. When you truly begin to understand money, Not just earn it, but understand it. Three things change. First, your decisions change. You stop making financial decisions from fear or impulse and start making them from intention. Every dollar, every pound, you know where it is going and why. Second, your relationship with the time changes. You begin to understand that money saved is time bought. Every amount you do not spend unnecessarily is a piece of your future freedom. Not abstract future freedom, real concrete freedom. To choose how you spend your hours rather than being chosen by your obligations. Third, your identity changes. You stop being someone that money happens to, and you start being someone who happens to money. Someone who directs it, builds with it, use it as a tool toward the life you are actually trying to construct. Financial freedom does not begin in your bank account. It begins in your understanding. Nobody taught you about money. That is true. But you are not a child anymore. You get to teach yourself. Start with one question. Not how do I make more? Start with where does the money I already have actually go? Write it down. Every outgoing, every category, without judgment. Just look at it honestly, because you cannot direct what you cannot see. And once you can see it, you can begin to change it. That is where financial understanding begins. Not with more income, with more awareness. I'm Zeno. This is Made from Scratch, and I will see you in the next one.